Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive explodes into Christmas with 12 featured superstar guests. We can't bring you a live wrestling event due to COVID restrictions, but we'll be bringing you a series of cyber autograph signings and meet and greets. This Sunday night during WWE's Farewell to the Undertaker at Survivor Series, join former WWE Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion Marty Jannetty for a live cyber autograph signing and watch-along. You never know what to expect with Marty live. Get a personalized autograph from Marty Jannetty signed live on the air and mailed to your home. Join us now through mid-December as the superstars help us continue our mission to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house this Christmas, put smiles on faces while honoring Paul Bearer's memory. VIP packages are still available. Don't worry if you've missed a live superstar signing. Every star is signing enough photos and posters while they're in Boston to fill VIP packages through December the 19th. Whether for your wrestling collection or to give as a holiday gift, if you're going to take part in any toy drive this year, please help our 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. Visit BostonWrestling.com and our social media platforms for complete event and toy drive information. We're going to start with a gentleman that we both know very well, a man I consider to be a friend. He was at a time the Millennium Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. He appeared at our event that we had at the Boston Garden, Tony. Talk about a rarity for an independent promotion such as ours to have an event at a major league facility like the Boston Garden. I'm talking about a man I consider to be one of the greatest athletes to ever compete in a professional wrestling ring, a real deal with an amateur background, the standard gold Shelton Benjamin.
Yes, Shelton Benjamin, he's one outstanding amateur wrestler, and he's also, but most definitely, a great wrestler. I was fortunate enough to manage Mark Henry, and I believe it was WrestleMania 25.
Correct.
Where Mark Henry, where Shelton Benjamin competed in a ladder match.
Money in the Bank.
The Money in the Bank, and the ability that young man had gave, and the dedication that he had gave to the business, we would make anybody very proud. If you ever saw one of his matches or met him in person, he's a wonderful individual in person, and a very, very great athlete. He's about as good an amateur as Jack Swagger was.
He was in the collegiate ranks with Brock Lesnar.
Yes, and you know, that took a lot of doing. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin, he's one really, really outstanding performer, wrestler, and a great gentleman. Just a great person.
You know, Tony, and this might come across as a slight to some people, but I think Shelton is one of the most underrated wrestlers I've ever seen. He's not someone that reached that main event level. He's never been a world champion in WWE, so to speak. But his body of work since he debuted on the main roster back in, I think, late 2002 all the way to the present day is phenomenal.
Yes, and if you stop and look at it, even though you may think that he's been underrated, but if you look at it, the history that he have gave to the company, I mean, he had a very good run for many years. I think he's going on his 20th year with the WWE.
Not that long, but he made his debut in 2002 after a couple of years in developmental.
Yeah, so he got a good 15, 16 years already behind him as a WWE superstar. So he had a wonderful. But the thing about ratings is that a lot of it is not so much judged by the office itself. Time change, the interest of the fans change, and there are very few wrestlers that could keep the fans year after year after year. And you know, unless you like, even you take as great as Hulk Hogan was, eventually he started losing his popularity among the fans.
Sure, he sure did.
You know, he went from the greatest wrestler in the Saints, Bruno Sammartino and Gorgeous George. I mean, he came in number 2 to them two guys, and Ric Flair. But he, you know, he still got his name out there. But at one time, the fans got interested more like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, and then the Hulkamania Earl started out. But there's one wrestler that kept his Earl going ever since the early 90s, and that's the Undertaker.
Correct.
So his run had probably been as greater than any run, I would say, of anyone, and longer even than the great Bruno Sammartino.
Do you think it might be fair to say that Shelton was maybe a few years ahead of his time? As time has gone on, the smart fans, so to speak, have become very appreciative of what they call online work rate.
Yeah.
And Shelton, I think, was ahead of his time almost
Right.
with some of his outstanding
That makes
moves,
sense.
maneuvers,
Yeah.
at a time when maybe WWE was more character focused.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Shelton was already wrestling at a pace, in a way, that fans really appreciate right now in 2019.
Well, see, like I was, a lot of the ratings and stuff is not necessarily done by the WWE or the McMahon family. A lot of it is based on the fan and the ratings. So, like for example, if they put Tony Atlas on the card in Madison Square Garden, and 2,000 people show up to see Tony Atlas, but then they put you, for example, on, and 10,000 people show up
That's usually what I draw,
to see you.
About 10,000.
Yes,
yeah.
but the more than likely, the promotion is going to go more with you, because the thing about wrestling, even though it's a sport, but it's also a sport and a business too. So supply and demand. So a lot of people much rather have, during that period, Shelton had a lot of competition. He had to go against Shawn Michaels, had to go against Undertaker, and it was just the field is so full now of great wrestling. Right, in my day, you had a main event, semi-main, and then you had preliminary wrestlers. Now you don't have preliminary guys anymore. All the guys are wrestling superstars. So the competition for Shelton is much greater than the competition for me and Rocket or JYD, because they didn't have all the top wrestlers in the world at that time. They have the top wrestlers in the WWE at that time. I mean, they had the top wrestlers in the NWA, top wrestlers in the AWA, top wrestlers in Japan, but it was never before to put them all in one bucket. So it was a lot easier for me and Rocket Johnson and Junkyard Dog and Hulk Hogan to get over and get that top rating, because we didn't have the competition that Shelton have to face. Because you can't find an underdog in the WWE no more. I mean, everybody there could be a main event. Every match, every WWE match could be a main event match anyway. It's the same thing with the women division that they just started. I mean, they got some of the top women. You got Rousey, Charlotte Flair, Mickie James. I mean, the Boss. I mean, you go on. And before, we may have maybe one top woman wrestler, which probably be a Moolah or Wendy Richter at that time, and then they would bring in what they call a preliminary wrestler to go around the circuit with them. But never before would they ever have so many superstars to compete against, which make the show greater and more entertaining now than what it was in our day, because I didn't have the competition that Shelton had. I probably wouldn't have went as far as I went if I was faced with the uphill battle that he's faced with.
Well, WWE, probably now for the past 20 years, as opposed to being your traditional old school type setup of a wrestling promotion, it's like an all-star game. Baseball or basketball. Every top just about every top superstar in wrestling is in that one company.
That one area. Exactly right. The only people I had to worry about, I was the only guy doing the press slam, so I didn't have to worry about nobody around doing that. Jimmy Snuka was the only guy jumping off the top rope, and that's why he became so famous from that one move. Whereas today, everybody in the dressing room come off the top rope, and just about everybody in the dressing room could press slam a man over his head. So like I said, the competition, like if you watch old magazines or get old photographs on YouTube, when Arnold Schwarzenegger won his first Mr. Olympia competition, there was only 5 people he had to compete against.
Right.
Today, you go to the Mr. Olympia contest, you can compete against 100 people. And it's same thing in the wrestling world. There was not that many wrestlers, you know, especially during my day, that participated in bodybuilding. That's what me and my friend Scott was talking about earlier on our way down here. By the way, Scott, the guy that made this action figure y'all been looking at. But we were discussing the fact that the wrestling have changed so much because the competition now is greater than ever. With football, I mean, my God, how you gonna find them many great players back in the 50s, or the 60s, or the 70s? You know, like you said, what Vince did, it took the best in the world and put it all in one, and tell them to fight to see who's going to be the top.
Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive Cyber Fanfest explodes into Christmas with interactive cyber autograph signings, live interviews, raffles, merchandise, and more. We were excited to bring you a wrestling event here in Boston, but we have the ability to bring a Cyber Fanfest to great fans like you around the world. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush kicked off the drive with autograph photos and posters still for sale online. Let's run down the list of remaining cyber autograph signings where you can get an autograph photo for yourself or to give to a friend or a loved one this holiday. Mail order for your items is also available. On Survivor Series Sunday, November the 22nd, Marty Jannetty will be with us live for a cyber autograph signing during the Farewell to the Undertaker. You never know what to expect with Marty in studio live. We're back Friday, December the 4th with the veteran former Nation of Domination member Savio Vega, a.k.a. Quang, making a rare appearance in Boston. Things are going to get nasty on Saturday, December the 5th when Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, join us for the very first time. A great chance to get the former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions signed. Sunday night, December the 6th, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas returns for a Cyber Christmas party during our NXT Takeover Watch Along. Tony will be signing autographs and will also have his art available for purchase. The following Friday, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in wrestling history, the Warlord, joins us live in studio discussing his WWF run beginning in 1988. Saturday, December the 12th, the superstar undefeated for 2 years in the WWF, Native American Tatanka, will be with us supporting the toy drive. Then on Sunday, December the 13th, it's a double feature of future star superstars as recent Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament competitor Wheeler Yuta joins us in studio for the first time after competing here in Boston Wrestling MWF, along with the man visiting us for the first time in 8 years, the new Impact Wrestling World Champion Rich Swann. And it wouldn't be Christmas without old John Cena Sr. with us live and in person as he's been working the phones on the North Pole. Again, autographs and all-inclusive VIP packages are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com. Help our tradition of updating Santa's GPS to find every kid's home this year while creating smiles and honoring the late, great Paul Bearer's memory. From our family to yours, happy holidays, Merry Christmas.